Hiya, this is Nutty Rat Chick, and this is my summary and thoughts on the first two new episodes of the fourth season of Supernatural and Smallville. I've rewatched both of them for the second time. Okay, we'll start with Supernatural. I love this series, I really do. I have a real soft spot for both Sam and Dean. I think they're brilliant characters. There's the one thing I will say about both of these shows is that they are both on their final season, and because of that there is a sense of them being a little overcrowded with their storylines. It feels almost as if the writers are very aware of the fact they only have X amount of episodes to say everything they want to say. The first episode of Supernatural, you find Dean happily living his non-hunter life with his fit girl and her little baby, and everything's la-di-da-di-da-di-da. But obviously he's still missing Sam because it's his little brother, and he loves his little brother. And you get the whole Gins arrive and send Dean on a trip, and you see what Dean's biggest fears are, which is quite interesting because when the first time they did sort of their phobias, their greatest fears were themselves, which was quite interesting, and losing Sam. So because he's already lost that, his fear is Yellow Eyes, which is quite interesting. I quite like them bringing back Yellow Eyes. It kind of made me smile. It was kind of a nod to the seasons that went before. Lazarus in the name is about reincarnation, and they did bring back a hell of a lot of characters in this. I quite liked that they brought back the granddad. There is definitely something odd going on with that group. Why they are keeping demons and not just killing them is whether they're trying to extract information, or whether there is a darker plot string ahead. We don't know. Very interesting. Sam came right back somehow, miraculously popped out of the box. I was trying to figure out exactly how they'd done that, which is quite interesting. They made a nod to Cass, acknowledging him, even though he wasn't actually in this episode. I do like Cass. I always thought it was an amusing character. The whole concept of angels I found quite interesting, with it being such a monumentally massive theme. The only thing I will say is it was a little anticlimactic, but to be fair, where do you go from the end of the apocalypse? You can understand why there was a slight drop in the excitement factor. Generally, I really enjoyed it. You could see the beginnings of the new storylines forming, which was very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to the next episode. There were some fun quotes in this. Sam holding up the golf club and going, "Golf? Really?" That was pretty good. I quite like that. That made me smile. Oh, bless him. There were some really, really cute bits. And your family were killing vampires on the Mayflower. I quite liked that. That made me smile as well. That was a nice touch. Quite like the granddad being back. That's interesting. Would have preferred it to be the dad, to be honest, but I suppose that's slightly biased because I really like the guy who plays their dad. But apparently he does surface at some point, which could be really, really cool. It's quite funny that the two shows both have a very similar theme for their first episode, especially with it both being the last season, which is why I decided to do those two together. Smallville very much had the same issue, if not amplified, where they were trying to put so many storylines in, it felt over-crammed. There were a couple of bits where I went, that makes no sense. Which does happen to me sometimes because I tend to overthink things. We started off with, they gave a summary of like the last season and what happened at the end, and Clark falling with the dagger in his chest, which prevents him from using any of his powers. So logically he's just fallen off a 20-30 story building. There's no dents in the concrete, there's no blood, and his body's all in one piece. Yeah, no, wouldn't happen. But that aside, Lois comes running up and she's like, "Oh, don't die." And she's leant over and I'm sat there shouting at the screen, "Pull the damn dagger out!" But I did get quite into that. And you get oh god, I'm gonna forget her name now, aren't I? Tess waking up in Cadmus Labs, all healed, and finding the Lex clones, which were created to heal Lex Luthor. Lex is one of my favourite characters. I think Michael Rosenbaum is amazing. He said that he would never come back due to really hating shaving his head. I'm actually hoping that she finds a child in Lex Labs. I'm assuming you've seen these when I'm talking about them. I'm hoping that they let the child grow up and keep his hair so they can bring Michael Rosenbaum back without forcing him to shave his head all the time, because that would be really cool. Because I actually really like Michael Rosenbaum. I have a lot of love for that guy. I think he's very, very, very good. So yeah, we have baby Lex now. Interesting. I'm not sure if I like that or not. It's kind of interesting that he's got the missing patch of skin. Whether that's supposed to be related to her injuries or another injury that Lex has suffered, I don't know. That's a bit of a It was definitely interesting. I liked the throwback to Cadmus Labs, because that was in one of the earlier episodes of Smallville, which was quite cool. I did quite like the throwback stuff. But this whole episode kind of had a slightly trippy edge to it, and there were a couple of things that I was just like, that doesn't really fit. So she pulls out the dagger, sun hits Clark, sun rejuvenates, so he's all fixed, and she hides in the shadows so that he doesn't see that she's seen him injured. And she plays that she doesn't know he's the Blur, which is quite interesting. It's quite funny the way she teases him about how hot the Blur is, which is quite funny, and he gets that sort of half smile on his face, which is very, very cute. As those of you who watched my first video will know, I'm a massive Green Arrow mark. I just think he is ridiculously attractive. And of course in this episode he's busy getting tortured. Not his best look, I must admit. And the relationship between him and Chloe is very interesting. That she put on Dr. Fate's mask was it was the iconic moment, which I really liked. It's like, would you give your sanity to save the man you love? And I really liked that. I thought that was really, really good. There were bits of this episode that were just like, yeah, I get this. They played the whole Clark being on the edge of death thing before she pulled the dagger out. I know, slightly wrong order, forgive me. That was quite interesting. It was the whole Jor-El saying, don't be an idiot and martyr yourself because you're needed in the world, which was quite interesting. And I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was an interesting dichotomy. When he comes back, he obviously finds Chloe. Chloe tells him Cadmus Labs is burning. He goes, rescues Tess, who takes home little Alexander. Oh, brain! I literally watched this 10 minutes ago. I'm trying to get everything in the right order. But you have Clark manages to... Evil Lex from Cadmus Labs kidnaps Lois and sets the bomb on the bally thing on the top of the Daily Planet, and he has to save both of them. And that bit is brilliant. That bit is the essence of Superman, which really made me smile. It was the spinning around to put out the flyer, and then running and jumping and flying to carry the ball back on the top of the Daily Planet. It's probably the most iconic of the Superman scenes. Certainly in my mind, it's the one that sticks as being wow. And he goes back, he's about to reaches for the suit, and Jor-El teleports him off from a book, which was a bit sort of like, okay, if he could do that, why did he not do that? But anyway, so he arrives in the Fortress of Solitude, and Jor-El speaking to him. First thing that pops into my head is, didn't Zod smash all the crystals on the last one so that Jor-El couldn't speak to Clark anymore? Or have I completely lost my marbles? It's one of those, you've just got to accept that sometimes continuity not their best feature. And Jor-El kind of said, you can't be the world's hero with darkness in your heart. So you have to... So, although Jor-El is cold and cruel at times, he's very rarely wrong. Which is quite interesting. And so Clark goes away feeling all dejected and bumps into his human dad, who is dead and fixing a fence. Yeah, sometimes you kind of have to go, alright then. That scene was very good. I love those two playing off each other. As actors, I think they work very, very, very well. It was a nice uplifting scene. You're gonna save the world, I love you, blah 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 blah. Pretty much all good. Lois makes the decision that she is going to Africa, obviously to protect Clark because she is his greatest weakness. Didn't we do this for Lana Lang? Pretty sure we did. But anyway. Yeah. Overall, apart from the fact that Smallville was overpacked, there were bits that were brilliant. There were bits that really, really made me grin. I'm about to run out of time, so I will see you guys soon. Next video is Vampire Diaries Part 1, 2 and 3 of the new season. Take care, and I shall see you soon.